Hey guys, Josh here from Tire Performance. Today I want to talk a little bit about chain drive, talk about pros, cons, and a review on what I currently have set up on the bike. So here we go. So going over some of the pros and cons of having a chain drive. So obvious pros are you're able to handle a lot more torque. There's this misconception here where people think that if you get over 100 horsepower, you need to move to a chain drive, or you should move to a chain drive. Or there's rumors of, you hear guys all the time saying, "Oh man, I went to chain drive because I was snapping belts all the time." I know a lot of guys that ride belts. I know a lot of guys that are in the 130, 40 horsepower range with matching torque that are riding belts perfectly fine. Okay. There is a zone there where you're going to have too much torque for the belt. If you ride really, really hard, you're dumping clutches all the time, which I don't really advise because it's ultimately bad for your motor and you're really not going anywhere. Okay, so unless you just want to do burnouts, you're not fast. Okay, you're spinning, you ain't winning. Obvious again, handle more torque. Okay. To me, it's more reliable. Okay, if you bust a belt or you knock a bunch of teeth off a belt, you're kind of screwed, right? You're kind of stranded on a chain drive. If you pop an extra link in there, that'll get you where you need to get to. It doesn't necessarily leave you stranded on the side of the road. I do a lot of long rides. That's really beneficial for me. I would say that another point of it is going to be your response. So this is a cush chain drive. It's not directly bolted onto the wheel like some kits are. So there still is that little bit of slack that I kind of feel, but it's nothing like what it used to be. All right. So I would say that my response is way better. Off the line, on the pulls, on the higher RPMs, my cam is kind of based off a higher RPM. So I can feel it really hooking, on that. So those are your given pros. Okay. Cons, it's dirty. Okay. Maintenance. If you don't maintain your chain, you're gonna have problems. Okay, so we talked about reliability a little bit. This thing needs to be lubed up constantly. Okay, and lube is fucking dirty. All right, so every couple of rides, I throw on a little squirt on there, try to get it a little bit lubricated. But that stuff is slinging around everywhere, man. It's dirty. Okay, so I would say I have a $1,500-$1,600 nice cush chain drive, and this thing looks disgusting all the time. It gets everywhere. Okay. I would say every about oil change, I clean it off real good and put a good base lube on it, and just get it all nice and sticky, just to keep it kind of fresh. All right. So I've had this chain drive for a while. I have no issues with it. I probably brought about 10,000 miles on it. I've never had a chain break, nothing like that. One thing that I've noticed, it could be just because of the swing arm that I have on here. I put an aftermarket swing arm as well from Track Dynamics, but the chain tensioners aren't really the best. His newer stuff that he has coming out is a lot better. They have more integrated stuff, but I got one of the OG swing arms, and it doesn't hold it. It's always the chain side that after a while I gotta kick that thing back out. So I've noticed that a lot more than with my belt drive. Probably just because there's increased horsepower. I never had this much horsepower on my belt. So that could be playing a factor as well. Another con, if you will, is that it starts getting a little bit noisy. You can actually hear the chain kind of slapping around a little bit. So it's a little bit added noise. I wouldn't say it's like a deal breaker by any means, but it's just additional noise coming from your bike. Okay, so now I want to talk to you a little bit about the MJK Performance Cush chain drive that I got from them. So I got anodized gold with black teeth, and then their pro chain that they had that came with it. Okay, so off the bat, I'm going to say I'm a huge advocate for MJK Performance. I like their products. I actually got their running boards for the front and rears as well. So what I would say is, they make really, really good things, but being a smaller-ish company, it's hard to get parts from them sometimes. They're sold out as soon as they get done making them. But big advocate for MJK Performance. I like their stuff. I really like this chain drive. It looks good. The first picture that I took with that's it new with no miles, and but we'll kind of give you a look at it now. So now that you get the bag off, we can kind of see the chain drive there. So anodized gold MJK. I've had this for about 10,000 miles. Teeth are still really good. This thing's taken plenty of abuse. You can see the chain. It's pretty dirty. Actually needs another probably another coat of oil on it as it is, but or chain lube. But no, it's still holding out there pretty good. Like I said, these are the tensioners. I'm constantly having to adjust, probably about every 5,000 miles or so. I'm doing a common sense check on it. Based on how much I ride, I actually have to adjust it just a little bit. So there it is.